Prior to programming your robot, you will need to download and install the Arduino software. If you're using a Macintosh computer or a PC running Linux, then go to arduino.cc and click on Download to download the appropriate files. And once you have those, then you can click on Getting Started to go through the first, writing your first program and uploading it to the Arduino. If you're using a Windows machine, I would recommend that you download a slightly different installer. I find it by typing download enhanced Arduino mod, and you want to get the most recent version. Now you just download the main package. Now if you're running a Windows 8 machine, you will also have to follow some additional instructions to install the drivers correctly. And the best way to do this is to just type in install Arduino drivers Windows 8. The very first link gives you instructions on what you need to do to disable digitally signed driver verification, something to that effect, in order to be able to install the Arduino drivers. Once you have downloaded the enhanced Arduino mod zip file, just extract it and install it. I prefer this version of Arduino for two reasons. Number one, it runs much more dependably on my laptop. It runs without any quirks, bugs, problems, whatnot. The other reason I really like this version is because it installs all of the drivers for you really well. We're going to be using Arduino Nanos, and sometimes installing the driver for the Nano is a bit of a headache. So this just takes care of all those problems. And it also installs drivers for all the other boards, a LilyPad, a Mega, whatever you're going to be using down the road. So it takes care of everything in one foul swoop. At this point, if you did not already have your drivers installed for your Arduinos, you would click install. I already have all of mine installed, so I'm not going to do that. It will take a while. It will prompt you with several warning messages. I've never had a problem just saying or accepting the risks associated with installing Arduino drivers. My computer's been working fine. So, prior to uploading your first program, you actually need to know what COM port your Arduino is listed under. So you have to plug in your Arduino at this point. And then once you have it plugged in, you should get a little pop-up in the bottom that says it's installing the driver for it and whatnot. And then, if I go to Properties, and I look at my device manager, and I go to my ports, I should see This US serial port here, that's for the Nano. It's not like the Uno. It doesn't say Uno, but you just have to recognize that this is your Arduino. It's on COM 28, so I'm going to remember that, and I'm going to select serial port 28. Then I also have to make sure that I've selected the right board. Now, because the last time I was programming with the Nano, this is already selected for me, but if it had been switched to Uno, I would have to go back and of course switch it to the Arduino Nano 328. To load my first program, I like to just use an example, and I'm going to go to the basics and blink. This is a really good first program to load because it blinks the onboard LED on your Nano, so you can make sure that there's no communication errors, that your USB cord is good, that the drivers are installed, everything. So I'm going to go ahead and load this. It'll take just a sec. And once it's loaded, you should see an LED on your Nano blinking. It's going to blink, it's going to stay on for a second and then turn off for a second, and it's going to keep doing that infinitely. You'll learn a little bit more about why in the next few videos. But for now, suffice it to say, it has to do with this little bit of code here. While this is helpful, I like to make one more change. Instead of having the delay for 1,000, I'm going to switch that to 100, and I'm going to switch this number to 100 as well. Again, I'll explain more in future videos. For now, the reason I'm having you do this is so that we can change the program and re-upload it to the Arduino to make sure that it is actually uploading a new program, because somebody else might have tested this Arduino or tested their connection using the same program, and then that program would already be on the Arduino, and you would think that you had a good connection because it was blinking. You have to change the program and make sure that the Arduino's behavior actually changes to make sure that your connection is solid. The last thing that you need to worry about is, and I'm going to unplug my Arduino right now to show you the message. If I turn on my Arduino, if I provide it with an exterior power source, prior to plugging it in, I'm going to get an error message. Right here, USB device not recognized. So what I'm going to do is unplug it, turn the power off on my robot, disable the external power supply, and then plug it back in. You should know that the Arduino Nano sometimes is a little bit finicky. If you get that message, even though you're not providing external power, don't fret. Just unplug your robot and plug it back in.